Que pasa to the pack? It is Pack here. In today's video, NBA 2K24 has dropped their 4th roster update of the game. If you're not familiar with what this is, 2K every 2 weeks gets the real life performances of NBA players and translates them into their ratings in NBA 2K24. What I do every 2 weeks is talk about what players are doing better or worse and which players need bigger upgrades and not. That's what I'm doing in today's video. If you like this kind of content, if you like getting real basketball and translating it into NBA 2K, well, that's exactly what I do. So please join up and subscribe to the channel. Let's get in, man. We start off not with the Philadelphia 76ers, but with the Washington Wizards. I know it's a little different from what I do, but let's mix it up here and there. We start off with Kyle Kuzma, -2 to an 82 overall. Deni Avdija, +1. Daniel Gafford, +1. And Jordan Poole, -1. Pretty huge shift to this team. Their best player, Kyle Kuzma, goes down. Their second best player all season, Jordan Poole, at least ratings wise, is now the 5th best player on the roster because Deni Avdija and Daniel Gafford go up. Jordan Poole has fallen off so hard from his NBA championship days, and Tyus Jones now is the 2nd best player on the Wizards, which is kind of wild. The Golden State Warriors, another team that's struggling since its championship days. Steph Curry, -1. Klay Thompson, -1. Jonathan Kuminga, +1. And then Trace Jackson Davis, +3, tied with Andrew Wiggins. This team is struggle city, to say the least. They're already talking about making some roster changes because the team is struggling so bad. On top of Draymond Green's issues, Klay Thompson playing worse, Chris Paul injury. Steph Curry is the only guy here that is consistently performing well. The Warriors are going to need some major changes to get back to championship days. The Portland Trail Blazers, Jeremy Grant +1, making him the 2nd best player on the team. Malcolm Brogdon, -1, Shaedon Sharpe -2, and Scoot Henderson with his first upgrade of the year, +1. The team's not good. I think that's not really a shocker to anybody. Anthony Simons is back and playing well, and that's awesome, but the real question mark here is Shaedon Sharpe, can he find consistency, and can Scoot Henderson start playing better every single game? Those are the question marks for Portland. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards +1 enters the 90 overall club for the first time in his career. He's one of the only Timberwolves to ever reach the 90 overall club. It's like him, Kevin Garnett, Kevin Love, maybe? I don't even know if Kevin Love was a 90. And Karl-Anthony Towns, and that's like it. Speaking of Anthony Towns, -1. Jaden McDaniels leaves the 80 overall club, -1. And Kyle Anderson, -2. A couple downgrades for this team, but it is still the best team in the West. And Anthony Edwards is a 90 overall. For OKC, we have Chet Holmgren, +1, making him still the 2nd highest rookie rated in the league. We have Jalen Williams, +1, and Josh Giddey, +1. Back to the 80 overall club. Josh Giddey puts up a triple-double performance just the other night. The Thunder are looking very, very good for the year. Phoenix is starting to look a little bit better lately. Devin Booker goes -1, but that's more because Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant are all playing with him at the same time now and playing well. Nurkic goes up +1 and Grayson Allen +2, making him the 5th best player in Phoenix. The Spurs. The Spurs actually have been playing a little bit better lately, but they're still one of the worst teams in the NBA. Victor Wembanyama +1, 87 overall as a rookie. In just like 25 minutes a game in the last 5 games, he has been putting up Wilt Chamberlain style numbers of double-digit points, double-digit rebounds, and consistently high block numbers. He is going to be terrifying soon. Cedi Osman -2. That's he's getting less playing time for some reason. And Julian Champagnie goes +3. Actually one of the highest upgraded players in the league now as a starter for the Spurs. For the Houston Rockets, Alperen Sengun +1, Fred VanVleet +1, and Jeff Green -2. The Rockets are a surprise this season. Alperen Sengun has been firmly the best player on the Rockets. Everybody thought Jalen Green was going to be better, but that's changing right now. For the Raptors, who've kind of gotten a resurgence for their team, Pascal Siakam +1, Emmanuel Quickley +1, and Dennis Schroeder +1. Very good play from everybody on the Raptors right now. However, no upgrade to RJ Barrett is a huge shocker to me because I feel like of all the acquisitions they got, he's been performing the best. Detroit with some upgrades, even though they're still horrible. Cade Cunningham +1, but he's injured. Jaden Ivey +1. They're finally playing him again. Look at that. Bogdanovich -1 and Thompson -1 out of the 80 overall club. They're also playing him a lot less as well because of his offensive incapability so far. The New Orleans Pelicans. Jonathan Valanciunas, where you at? -1. Herb Jones out of the 80 overall club +1 and Larry Nance Jr. +2. It's been a while since I've given Larry Nance Jr. an upgrade at all. With Indiana, although Tyrese Halliburton was injured, before he was injured, he went down to a -1 to a 93. I had said a 94 was a little bit too high for him, and I guess 2K agrees. Miles Turner +2. 85 overall. This makes him firmly the second best player on the Pacers. He's a number 2 on this team, and this is the highest rating I believe he has ever achieved in his career. Benedict Mathurin +1. This also makes him the third best player on the team with the highest rating he's ever had. Obi Toppin -1, which means he's now tied with Aaron Naismith at number 5 on the team. For the champs, literally nothing besides Peyton Watson, who goes +2, tied as the 5th best player on the Nuggets. For Brooklyn, we have Bridges -1, which ties him with Nicholas Claxton as the best player on the Nets, which is weird. Cameron Johnson +1. We have Spencer Dinwiddie -1. Cam Thomas goes -2. And Day'Ron Sharpe goes -2 as well. All over the place for the Nets. This update essentially means that they're underperforming. Cam Thomas has slowed down since his hot start of the year. We'll see if the Nets can be a playoff team firmly by the end of the year. For the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic +1. He is 1 overall away from being tied as the best player in the NBA. Dante Exum +1. He is on the front page of the Dallas Mavericks team, top 5, tied as the 3rd best player on the Dallas Mavericks. Insane change for Dante Exum throughout his career. Like, what a comeback for him. Tim Hardaway Jr. -1, and then AJ Lawson +5 for AJ Lawson, from a 67 to a 72 overall. Basically a role player now rather than a nobody. Now it's time for Orlando, who have been amazing this season. Paolo Banchero +2. There was questions of who's the better player, Franz Wagner or Paolo, and they were tied. Not anymore. Now it is Paolo Banchero as the best player firmly on the Magic. Jalen Suggs +1 enters the 80 overall club for the first time in his career. There were question marks about Jalen Develop, if he was a bust or not. Well, he's changed that this season. He's good. And Wendell Carter Jr. -1. Ever since he came back from injury, he has not been the tip-top performer we know him to be, but he has all season to figure it out. The Los Angeles Lakers. Although Anthony Davis has been playing out of his mind with a +1, everybody else has been a disappointment. The defense doesn't exist. You have D'Angelo Russell -2 to a 79 overall. You have Jared Vanderbilt -1, and then you have Christian Wood -2. This team, again, after a whole offseason, it's just LeBron and AD and nobody else again. The Knicks, after trading RJ Barrett and Manuel quickly, it was a question of whether or not it was a bad trade. Well, they are 5-1 in the last 6 games after that trade. Jalen Brunson is a +190 overall player for the first time in his career. Joining the 90 overall club is a big deal, and he made it, and nobody thought he'd ever make that. Julius Randle +1. OG Anunoby, the new acquisition, +2 to an 82 overall as the 3rd best player on the team. You have Dante DiVincenzo now a starter for the team, +1 as an 80 overall. And as Isaiah Hartenstein, a starter right now because of Mitchell Robinson, +1. +1s all over the place. The Knicks are looking good. The Kings, Sabonis +2. Almost tied as the best player for the Kings, again, just like last season. But the crazy one to me is Kevin Huerter -1. He went from the 3rd highest rated player on the Kings last season, rating-wise, to the 7th. Utah, Colin Sexton's playing well, +2 for him so far. Jordan Clarkson, +2, back to the 80 overall club where he belongs. And Kelly Olynyk, +1. For Charlotte, there is literally nothing to talk about besides LaMelo Ball coming back and Brandon Miller +1. That's it. Miami, Tyler Hero -1. And Jaime Jaquez +1. Jaime Jaquez is coming for that 3rd best player spot on the Miami Heat, and that's exciting. He is good. Caleb Martin -2. He has been the what happened to this guy's story of the year because he was crazy in the NBA playoffs. To slow down like this is just bizarre. And Nikola Jovic +2. That's it. Atlanta, who is considering seriously to let go of DeJounte Murray and trade him, DeJounte goes +1. Trae Young +1 back to the 90 overall club for the first time in a hot minute, and Jalen Johnson +1 into the 80 overall club for the first time in his career. This team is going to look very different probably by the end of the year. The Memphis Grizzlies are cursed apparently because John Morant's out for the season. Desmond Bane just got injured, but Marcus Smart +1, so good for them, I guess. The Clippers, who have turned their season around completely, are looking so good right now. Kawhi +1, Paul George +1, James Harden +1, and Zubac +1. Look, in my opinion, with the Clippers, I still feel like Paul George is a little bit low. I do think he's a 90 overall club player, but that's just me. If you thought the Celtics were broken, now look at them. Derek White +2. So now they got 5 players that are 85 overall and better. It's a joke. This team has to win the NBA championship. There's no way they don't win it this year. Big change. The highest rated player that isn't like a 67 overall guy is Jarrett Allen +3. This makes him the second best player on the Cleveland Cavaliers, tied with Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. That's a big deal. Karis LeVert +1, Craig Porter +2, and Sam Merrill +2 as well. Chicago, DeMar DeRozan +1 and Nikola Vucevic +1. They're playing better. Kobe White's been playing awesome, but will it sustain throughout the whole year? We don't know. We're going from we need to rebuild to maybe this team can make the playoffs. We'll have to wait and see. Milwaukee, simple. It's literally just Brook Lopez -1, tied now with Bobby Portis Jr. as the 4th best player. And it's weird because last season he was getting close to being the 2nd best player on the Bucks. So kind of a wild change. And Philly, who've been pretty good as well, it's just D'Anthony Melton +1, now the 5th best player on the 76ers. That is the roster update. What do you guys think about all these changes? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this channel, please give it a sub. I'll see you guys next time.